going on? How's everyone doing?
Shout out to Colin. Everybody else who's cool with Colin.
Chunky! I didn't say.
Eat your popcorn and your Coca-Cola and relax.
Anyway, tell Colin I'm ready.
What's going on? This is Colin. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a great day so far. Happy Thursday. Why do I always have to remember what day of the week it is? I probably should think about that before I start my live so I don't have to pause there, but I do it every time. Anyways, I am so sorry I'm late, everybody. I took an impromptu nap and woke up way too late. I was not ready for the stream. Had to rush everything together. So we are good now. I appreciate your guys' patience. Thank you so much for waiting. Without further ado, I've got some guests. You guys want to meet some guests? I want to meet some guests. Rob, Hutch, what is going on?
Nothing much. How's it going?
Yeah, Jinx.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that some nice coffee you got? What you got? I need to have me a cup too.
A little Basil Hayden's coffee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basil Hayden's coffee.
Okay. I need to get my cup.
That's a little bit of a stronger coffee than I'm used to. Thank you guys for holding. We were chatting backstage. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being patient with me while I was jumping through the hoops I usually do at about 6 o'clock. But Rob, since you are here, do you want to give a little bit of background on who you are before we get started?
I am a public defender in Minnesota. I also do some civil work. I have a long background in kind of government and political work as well, lobbying. And prior to that, I worked in law enforcement. So it's a little bit about me, but jumped from law enforcement over to specifically to do public defense work. I like helping people. I like getting paid by the government to fight the government, and it's glorious.
Very nice.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, your experience is going to be much appreciated in the video we're watching tonight. So, Hutch, do you want? I mean, everyone knows you, Hutch, but do you want to? I mean, you can just skip the biography if you want, but if you want to give a quick intro, go ahead.
Well, most of you probably already know me. It's Hutch. You already know about my channel. You know me and Colin hang out. And, you know, some things might come out tonight that you might not know. I put it to you like that.
Okay. All right.
Just oh yeah, see, you see, Colin, he knows. Okay, all right.
I mean, I wasn't aware that we were gonna have a no pants party, but okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Rob's like, wait.
No. I'm wondering, like, who said pants was optional or required? Like,
why do you think I keep my video off?
Oh, okay. So it's Colin.
Colin's going full Monty. That's why the video's off.
Every single night. I mean, I can't stream naked on YouTube, but they frown upon that.
Exactly.
All right. So tonight's video, we are covering a very old video. This video came out over 10 years ago. And you know what? I forgot to grab the link and put it onto the description. Guys, I'm not lying. I was throwing this together at the last minute. So when I'm done with this, I will make sure to link the channel I got this video from. Because I did grab it from another channel. So you're gonna notice the format's a little weird. Because for whatever reason, when I formatted it, it just took the exact format that they did. So the video might not, you'll see. You guys will see. You might have noticed in the intro how it wasn't full screen. It was kind of a little bit smaller. It's just the format that it was automatically put in. But we're going to watch this. This is a sovereign citizen explaining how to handle a traffic stop once he gets pulled over. Now, this guy claims to be a former law enforcement officer. I didn't look into that background to verify it. I'm going to go with what he says. There's no reason to say he's not. Besides what he's saying doesn't make any sense.
He's not.
Yeah. Besides what he says is wrong about how to handle a traffic stop.
It just depends if you count a detention deputy as a deputy sheriff. And
okay,
if 2 weeks of working as a detention deputy means that you can call yourself a former deputy sheriff, it's just a matter of interpretation. That's all.
True. He doesn't have the right certification.
All right. Well, you guys ready to get started?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Let's go. I'm gonna be pausing a lot. Because we're gonna be breaking this down. If there's anything that pops into either one of your guys' head that you want to say, please just tell me to hit the pause button. I will stop it instantly. But because this is from another YouTube channel, I don't want to get hit with any copyrights, so I will be pausing this video a lot. That's why I'm going to be posting the video in the description when this is over. If you guys want to watch it uninterrupted, feel free to jump over to the original creators channel and watch it from them. Yeah, that's all I got. Let's go.
All right, let's go.
All right. Here we go. Right off the bat, he tells us.
Now, what I'm going to talk about today for the most part are your rights, especially when it comes to things like public service and servant encounters involving traffic stops, sidewalk stops, public building stops, so on and so forth. It would surprise you to a great degree just how much the American people are no longer in touch with what their basic, common, unalienable rights actually are. We've been indoctrinated into surrendering them to the state and to those that we judge to be in authority over us for far too long. It's probably one of the biggest reasons for government-controlled schools is simply because this indoctrination process has to be done slowly, because what they're telling us about what we have as far as rights are concerned and how they actually treat us in regard to those rights are very much in contrast and in contradiction to each other. But by doing it slowly over time the way they're doing it, most people have gotten to the point where they don't even notice any longer that they have been deprived of those rights until it's far too late. This is the transportation script that I've wrote and am currently recommending for use whenever you're engaged in any type of public interaction, most appropriately a transportation stop, but it can be used in any situation where you're having to deal with any type of public servant who is attempting to exert some sort of authority over you or your property or something of that nature. So that being said, there's a couple of general rules when it comes to dealing with public officials. One of the things I've got here on the transportation script is it's best for you to memorize as much of the actual questions portion as possible. The instruction portion, don't have to worry about memorizing. You just need to know the basic premise of why the instructions are what they are, so that you can apply them properly to the questions and the context in which you're having to use them. That being said, one of the major rules I stress vehemently to the people in my class is you're no longer in the world of rights and safety. You're in a world of government intolerance of the very people that empower and create it.
All right. Opening statement right there. You are no longer in a world of rights. I don't remember what he said, rights and something. We're in a world of intolerance. All right.
Rob was yawning.
From an officer's standpoint, that is a terrible thing to say, is it not?
Right, but he was never an officer, so let's be clear there.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's definitely areas where some police officers, and unfortunately, it doesn't take many to create a broad sentiment among people where they overstretch their authority. I see it all the time. But to create that as some sort of categorical thing, it's immediately setting off as you need to know your rights, because every government agent you come across is going to try to trick you out of your rights. It's just BS.
Yep. All right. Let's go.
The government wants you to be its subject, not the other way around. So, never leave home ever again without some form of recording device with you. Doesn't matter if it's your cell phone, doesn't matter if it's a voice recorder, doesn't matter if it's multiple of either. Don't leave home without something that records. Anytime you find yourself in a situation where you are about to have to deal with a public servant, I don't care if it's someone you've known for years, but you are going to see them in their official capacity as whatever they are, a court clerk, court of record clerk, the county clerk, whatever, you record that encounter. You never know what your public servants are going to attempt to do at any given time anymore. Police officers are being trained to treat us as the enemy. They are first and foremost the ones you have to watch out for. Never
No.
No.
Police
right.
officers are never trained to do that.
No, not to treat anybody as the enemy. And yeah, having a recording device isn't a bad advice. I mean, everybody's got one now anyway, so it's, maybe 10 years ago that wasn't the case, but everybody's got their own recording device, which can be a great tool of government accountability. But to sit there and record every county clerk and every transaction that you have is a little bit ridiculous. I don't know if he's endorsing, like the frauditors where you go jam a camera in front of a 80-year-old county clerk's face and say First Amendment, whatever. But if you have if you're having an adversarial experience with anybody, having an objective record, which a video is, that's not bad advice. But the premise of this is behind every quarter is a government agent seeking to tackle you and pants your rights over your head. The whole premise of the setup is a little conspiratorial, but the advice isn't terrible.
True. And I mean, even back then, so you're carrying a recording device with you for what? I mean, obviously, maybe you might get pulled over, but who's thinking about, oh, I might see the county clerk today. I might have to go to the courthouse for something, but
I'm going to get Susan at the post office. Today's her day.
Right. And when he was saying this too, I thought about the same thing you said, Rob,
Damn
with
it,
the
Susan.
frauditors, right? Because that's what they do. They go in and record in public places and try to make a point.
Yeah. Now this guy, I mean, I think his name was Eddie Craig. I believe that's what his name was.
Yep.
He is credited for one of the versions of the Sov script right now. So one of the Sovereign Citizen channels that I watch, they have what they call the Eddie Craig script. So just a little bit of background on him. That's where it comes from.
And I think that's what he's going through, with on the little screen there. It looked like he talked about the script, and the woman who was just in Kansas, she mentioned the Eddie Craig script. That young woman and her boyfriend, and she mentioned that script.
Yes, that's where I heard the name for the first time, and was able to actually look this guy up. That's how I found this video. Is I got the name and I just looked it up. So it all worked out. So I'm glad I started watching these Sovereign Citizens. I'm watching them and I'm gaining information from them. It's hilarious.
We're all learning things tonight, everybody.
Everyone's learning. All right, let's keep going.
talk with a peace officer, police officer, or any other type of officer if you're not recording the encounter. All right, now in the transportation script, you'll notice the yellow highlighted area at the top, the do's and don'ts. These are very important things you need to know. You don't have to memorize these, you just have to know why they exist and what they are for. The first one is, do remember that an officer is required to read you your rights before questioning or searching you if they have placed you in a custodial arrest. Now, one of the things that most people in Texas do not know is that every time you are stopped for an alleged transportation stop, you are already in a custodial arrest. There are many sections of Texas law that make that clear, but the one that will make it the most pointed will be Chapter 543 of the Transportation Code, where it talks specifically about the arresting officer may release the person arrested from custody and so on and so forth. You also have a Texas court case that says very clearly that that arrest that occurs in 543 is a custodial arrest. So they will always tell you, however, that you're not under arrest. They will tell you that you're in a custodial detention. This is a lie. The reason they're doing this is to get.
All right, thoughts on that?
No, there's no difference. Like, so an arrest and a detention, your Fifth Amendment rights attach the same. So saying I'm not detained, this is an arrest, whatever, you're not free to go. An arrest is their intention to hold you for a citation. A detention is you're being confined during an investigation. So arrest is after they're done investigating, detention is before they are. Mm-hmm. You need probable cause for an arrest. You need reasonable suspicion for a detention. That's it. Your Fifth Amendment rights are protected in both of them. But he said something there that's categorically false, is that you need to be read Miranda before you are searched. And that is not true.
No.
Miranda, your Fifth Amendment right prevents, it says you don't have to give testimonial evidence. They're able to, now they still have to have probable cause to do a search. So it doesn't absolve them of that, but they're under no obligation to read you Miranda. If you have a dog, if they do a dog sniff around your vehicle, dog hits, they say, get out of the car, we're going to search your vehicle. Why would they Mirandize you? They're not asking you anything. It's nope, we have probable cause, we're searching your vehicle.
Reason number, what are we up to? About 712. Why this guy's probably not an officer?
Yeah. Or he's a disgruntled officer that got fired in the past, and then now he's acting like this, but we already know he's not.
I mean, he does say former. We don't know what kind of former he is. So yeah,
he could have been, in the jail.
Yeah, or he applied and was rejected, so he called himself a former. Yeah, this is a good time to pause real quick for super chats. Sparkle Poats, thank you so much. Meemaw loses her shit in 3, 2. Sparkle Poots, I'm gonna personally apologize to you for being late. I am so sorry. I did not mean to disappoint Meemaw, but I do appreciate the super chat. Thank you. Peeps, 18 months. 18 months. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Peeps. And Brian for 11. Thank you, Brian. That is awesome. And the Ordinal. Peace to my man, Jay Hutch.
Yeah, I know him personally.
Oh.
So he jumped on because I asked him and to check you out.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, Hutch. I was gonna make fun of you for a second, but now I'm not going to, because not only did you bring a viewer, they left a super chat. So you're you have a free pass on this one.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you, the Ordinal. I appreciate it. Okay. You know what? I have been waiting all night for that, Mary. All night. Thank you. I appreciate it, Mary. Colin's late fee. Yes. I think I owe everybody a late fee, though. I think that's how that works.
Fee schedule, man.
Yeah.
Fee schedule.
I saw that pop up a couple times in the chat leading up to it. Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. Let's continue.
You to start talking freely, because under arrest you're liable to watch what you say. Under arrest they have to read you your rights, which is what this is dealing with. If they don't tell you that and you just talk freely, then anything you say can and will be used against you, and you can't get it suppressed later because the court will view it as a voluntary statement. So you need to know immediately that the moment the lights come on in Texas relating to any form of traffic stop, you are already in a custodial arrest, and you need to act accordingly. That being said, when you look at this and you read 543.001 through 009 of the Texas Transportation Code, you will see.
Just real quick, I don't think this guy understands how to use a highlighter. You're not supposed to highlight the entire thing. Someone needs to tell him that.
Just read the highlighted part, everybody.
Right?
It's like, oh yeah.
But also, there are 49 states in this union that are not Texas. So trying to copy and paste the strategy in your other state, even assuming this strategy would be somewhat valid in Texas, your mileage is going to vary.
Yes. I think everybody knows that too. I mean, even people that live in Texas, like, even if this worked in Texas, we're not going to go to Ohio and try this. Even though Ohio might allow it, though. I don't know.
Right.
That's the case. You'll also see that the reading of your rights is a mandatory requirement that works in your favor unless you're dumb enough to continue to talk after you've been so informed of this. And you can see that under Article 38.22 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. Be aware, however, that the cops almost never read you your rights. Never. Not when they arrest you, not when they search your car, not when they do any of that. And they're required to do it. So, these are the things you need to be aware of.
All right, I wanted to pause it real quick to make sure I read that before he moved on. The Supreme Court has ruled that you must verbally assert your rights. Do not rely on the police to advise you. What?
So there was a Supreme Court ruling a while ago. I forget the case name off the top of my head, but basically said that just simply remaining silent is not invoking your right to remain silent. So you have to affirmatively state, if you want the protections of the Fifth Amendment to cease them from interrogating you, that you have to actually state that you are invoking your right to remain silent. So if you sit there for 30 minutes and don't say anything, and then finally you say something incriminating, that's the kind of situation the case dealt with. Is that wasn't you invoking your right to remain silent. You actually have to say, I'm invoking my right to remain silent in order to get the benefit of the protection.
Okay. I mean, legally that makes sense. I mean, I mean, if the guy would have just, I mean, it's still the same thing. If you don't talk, you're remaining silent, so they can't hold anything against you because you're not speaking. But then he said something, so
yeah,
that makes sense.
That means anything you say that can be incriminating, like using the 7 deadly sins, or agreeing with the officer that you were driving, or that this is a vehicle. Anything you say or do in that regard is a nail in your coffin at trial.
Why was that funny? You guys both started laughing at the same time.
Admitted to driving or using you're calling it a vehicle.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
Doesn't matter
That's
whether
definitely sovereign talk right there.
Yeah, call it a road canoe. It doesn't matter. You're not conceding anything that's not already defined in law. So carry on.
Road canoe, let's go.
Because you're basically admitting that what he's accusing you of, the regulable activity of transportation, is actually applicable to what you're doing to your car and to your actions and to you personally, when in fact it isn't. But because you're so used to these terms that they're using, you simply agree with them. That's your first mistake. So one of my major rules is there's 3 parts to this. You shut up, you keep shutting up, and when you've done that, you shut up some more.
Yes!
Now,
yes! Yes! Good advice that no sovereign citizen ever follows.
True.
I mean, very few people follow that. See, I didn't know you were doing that for sovereign citizens. I thought you were excited because that's good advice for.
It's good advice. It is absolutely good advice. Shut the up. You can't get in trouble for what you didn't say.
Exactly.
But when have we ever seen a sovereign citizen video where they show up and then stuff starts happening and they just shut up? Never.
Never. They make it worse, which makes it where you always have to call for backup with them. They're just so aggressive.
I love how excited that just got Rob.
It's almost like it was a game and somebody won.
I can't tell you how many cases I could get dismissed if people just didn't admit to doing things.
It's weird, right?
Just don't say anything.
Man, just don't say anything. All right, so shut up, and when you're done with that, shut up some more. There we go. Rule number 1. That's good.
I like that.
That's good advice for anyone, says Rob.
We'll get to that in the do's and don'ts in the next one here. Right now, let's finish this up. Oh, keep it back up, please. Okay. Since they never read you your rights and you are in a custodial arrest and the officer is lying to you about the custodial arrest, you need to make sure you know that, okay?
All right, I just have to respond to this comment because it was good. He would probably start covering flat earthers. I have no idea. If sovereign citizens all shut up, then we would. I mean, even all of us court channels would lose about half of our content. So yeah, we want you guys to keep talking. So keep it up. We appreciate you.
You are always in a full-blown custodial arrest. Okay, now pop that other one up. All right.
He definitely doesn't know how
Don't
to work a highlighter.
ever answer.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that they probably did this so it was easier to see on the screen. So they tried to put it on a yellow background, but they used the highlighter function instead of just changing the background colors, so it just looks kind of goofy. Mm-hmm. That's my assumption on the practical side, but yes, absolutely, they don't know how to use a highlighter.
Answer an officer's questions. There's no requirement for you to answer their questions. I don't care what they tell you. There's no requirement for you to give them anything that they want. Yes, Texas law says you have to give them a license, you have to give them registration, you have to give them proof of insurance. Problem, that's a due process violation. The law is attempting to make it mandatory that you waive a protected right in order to exercise some alleged privilege or exercise an actual right of another type. And it can't do that. No law can do that. That law is invalid on its face the moment it attempts to do that. So you have the right to remain silent, use it. However, remaining silent does not mean become a deaf mute. You still need to talk and you still need to respond in certain ways.
No.
It's just not going to be in a way that
Rob,
No,
like,
just
no,
stay
don't go
quiet.
back on the only thing you said that I agree on.
implicates you or provides them with evidence or information they can use against you. That's what be silent means. Not stop everything. It simply means don't be saying and doing anything that helps them and hurts you. That is the reason why I have a major 3-part rule about everything here, and that is everything that comes out of your mouth has to be directed to one of 3 specific purposes: invoking a right, demanding a right, or protecting a right. If anything you're saying or doing isn't intended to do one of those 3 things, then you're doing the wrong thing.
Uh-oh.
That being said, it's simple.
You see what Rob has in his hand?
I see what he just popped up there. What version is that? Or volume, whatever the right word is.
Edition is the word you're looking for. This is the 9th edition. So it's 2 behind. But I'm looking up the word silent to see if it means no, still argue, but just be silent. Carry on.
I was just told that Rich actually did some research on this guy and found his background. Okay. Jedi, thank you for letting me know I missed Rich's comment. Rich, I am sorry I missed these. So the closest that Eddie Craig ever came to being a deputy sheriff was part-time jailer. Good job, Hutch, on that guess. For a period of 2 weeks in 1992, at which he was unceremoniously fired. Okay.
Well, I wasn't joking when I told you that. A sovereign citizen tried to get him admitted as an expert in a court case in Texas back in 2013, and they did a whole voir dire of his qualifications, and that's when this stuff came out.
That is hilarious.
What?
Oh
Love
man,
to see that.
sounds like I need to do a background video on this guy. Let's learn who this guy is. I'm sure I could put together an hour worth of content on just this guy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's keep going. Oh, yeah. So, Rich, thank you so much for that information. I know you had a couple more comments. I do really appreciate you finding that. That's awesome.
Means, again, to not be a deaf mute, that you are not to provide any information or documents in response to the officer's demands or questions. That means you don't give him a license. You don't give him registration. You don't give him proof of insurance or anything else. All of these will be considered at trial to be a waiver of your protected right to remain silent. It will be considered a waiver of the requirement that they Mirandize you before they seize evidence and statements that they can use against you. And believe me, folks, all of this information can be used against you. It can also be used to further incriminate you. An example being, let's say your birthday was yesterday, and you have a license that you give the officer that says your birthday was yesterday. Can the officer under Texas law charge you for driving without a proper license? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he left out the part that your license expired yesterday. You know, your license doesn't expire every time on your birthday.
Right.
And you have a statutory obligation to present your driver's license to the law enforcement officer. You can't just say, no, I'm not going to give you information that could incriminate myself. No, you're driving. If you're driving, then you must surrender your license. If not driving, then you don't have to surrender a driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
It expired yesterday on your birthday. So unbeknownst to you, you provided him with something that he can actually charge you further with. And he's got the actual evidence because you gave it to him. If he demands that, or the prosecutor demands you produce your license at trial so he can show that it was expired on the date the citation was issued, what are you going to do? You're going to have to produce it. You can't have it suppressed because you voluntarily gave it to the officer at the time. You waived your right to remain silent by giving it to him. Same thing goes.
Yeah, Alan, I don't think I mean, as far as the officer goes, if it's expired, it's expired. But that's one of those things that if you're nice and you're not a dick to the officer, you might get off. Like, hey, it expired yesterday. Just give me, I'm going to go get it renewed, tomorrow. You might get a warning that way. Just don't be a dick. If you're a dick, you get a ticket for it.
Were you ready to say something, Rob?
Yes. So Black's Law, silence, a restraint from speaking.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, there isn't there's some hidden meaning of silence that when I say silence, that doesn't mean you get to keep arguing. Anyway.
Yeah, and in regard to the license thing that you mentioned, Colin. So if an officer stops you and your license was just expired yesterday, more than likely, like you say, all right, don't be a jerk about it or whatever, but more than likely, they're not going to give you a ticket for that. Unless, like you said, Colin, unless you really being a jerk. But I mean, honestly, by the time you write the ticket and by the time they come to court, they're gonna have the license anyway. So the situation dictates itself based on the person's actions, like you said.
Yeah. And can they tell from reading your license plate if you have a valid license or not?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Only the registered owner. They can tell if the registered owner has their license. It's not necessarily indicative, but in most jurisdictions, it's probable cause to stop if the registered owner doesn't have a valid license.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because in case somebody else behind the wheel or borrowed the vehicle or something. But yeah.
If you have the wrong or an expired insurance card, same thing applies with registration, any of it. They can't compel you to waive your right to remain silent and not to self-incriminate in order to meet their requirement of tell me that you have what I want. Because what they want is for you to allow them to get you in that vice of pay us money or we'll come after you for more money. That's what they're after. So, again, the three fundamentals. Any information or documents in response to the officer's demands or questions is going to hurt you. Invoke your fundamentally protected right to remain silent and to assistance of counsel, and then simply refuse to waive those rights. How do we do that? Well, you waive it because you complied with the officer's demands. The moment you comply, it's waived. You're done. It's over. You cannot get that back. You cannot ask the information be suppressed because the courts will say you gave it up voluntarily. The foremost thing to remember in these situations is to not engage the officers in idle conversation, dialogue, or chit-chat. Why? Because the more comfortable you are and the more talkative you become, the more likely you are to say or do something that's going to hurt you somewhere down the line, or that will give this officer more information he needs to conduct what he's going to refer to as articulable probable cause or a heightened reasonable suspicion to say that you were doing something more illegal or that would give him an opportunity to go fishing down a different path. So don't just talk.
That's not bad advice.
If you're doing that, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between, just chit-chatting with an officer after, if you don't feel like he's on a fishing expedition to try to get you things. If you don't know this guy and all of a sudden he's asking you about your kids and where you were coming from, there's a very strategic training that drug enforcement officers go through in drug corridors where they try to talk to people, and it seems really benign, but what they're trying to do is find out where you were going, when you were going, are you going along a common drug corridor? And then all of a sudden you think you're having a nice conversation and they say, well, based off of some of your answers, you've given me some reasonable suspicion, that there might be something in the car. Do you mind if I search it? and you're kind of blindsided, like, whoa, I thought we were just having a friendly chat. Likewise, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning after bar close and an officer's trying to get you to be really chatty about what you were doing, where you were coming from, and things like that, he's looking for slurred speech, he's looking for anything incriminating that you've said, so that he can get probable cause to get you out. It is a tactic. So it is generally smart. What I advise my clients to do is, if you've had a beer or two, don't say I've only had 2 beers, because everybody who's ever gotten a DWI told the officer that they only had 2 beers or 2 drinks or whatever.
Well,
So that
it's common knowledge that all bars cut people off after 2 beers.
After 2, yeah.
It's all they're allowed to serve every customer.
And you don't have to be a jerk about it, but when an officer comes up and says, license, registration, where are you coming from? You say, I'm just heading home, officer. I appreciate you, but I don't want to discuss my evening with you. It's like, why? You got something to hide? Not at all, officers. Just, I understand you're doing your job. I just don't want to have a conversation about my evening. And they should stop right there, and you might end up getting a ticket because they think you're being a jerk, but there's ways to fight that too. But at the end of the day, the more you say, the more probable cause they can develop, especially if they're on a fishing expedition.
Mm-hmm.
It's good advice. Rob, you're just giving out free legal advice. I think you're going to have to charge every single person that's listening to you tonight.
Somebody just donate Colin $2. That's about what that legal advice is worth. So.
Yeah, don't be surprised. It might come up any second now.
Actually, speaking of which, let me catch up on these super chats. Shane, I'm betting he got fired for getting his driver's license suspended. Yeah, maybe. Thank you, Shane. Shane has a great channel. Everyone go check out Shane. Pretty sure if you're watching me, you already watch him though. But Shane, good channel. Sparkle Poots requesting permission to visit this guy. Permission granted. Go visit. That's fine. And Jedi advice. There you go, Jedi. Thank you, Jedi. I appreciate it. Okay.
The bill has been settled.
Yeah. Well, late fee for Rob's.
Oh,
thank you, Mary. Oh, Mary. Oh, I mean, everyone's coming in. Wixom. Here's my $2. That's awesome, Wixom. Thank you. Okay. Let's go.
Now, this is known as my self-imposed rule of invoke, demand, and protect. Once you've invoked these rights, you never waive or abandon them by ignoring the procedures I'm giving you here. Any question the officer asks, like where are you coming from, where are you going, who are you meeting, they have nothing to do with the stop. Stop answering those questions. It's none of his business. He has no right or authority to know that. The only way he's going to get those answers is because you give them to him. And he has no business knowing. Stop giving your whole life up to these people just because they tell you they want it. They are used to simply getting these are used to get additional information that may allow the officer to continue his witch hunt and escalate the severity of the charges he might make against you. Also, never answer questions like, do you know why I pulled you over? Or are you aware that you... Stop helping this guy screw you over. That's what he's doing.
More good advice.
Yeah, not everything that he's saying is dumb. I mean,
No.
some of it it's just general good advice.
I just have a feeling it's going to take a dark turn, but no, I mean, this is good. Like when, if I get pulled over, immediately what I say, I roll my window down when they get up to there, say, good evening, officer. Why'd you pull me over? Because then I've thrown them off of their script a little bit. Because what the first thing they're going to do is, do you know how fast you were going if you were speeding? And if you know you were going 70 in a 55 and you say I was going 60, you just admitted to speeding. So you're not getting yourself out of that. They're just going to say that you were speeding. And then, but if you ask them, why'd you pull me over? Then they should say, oh, I got you speeding in there. And then they might ask, do you know how fast you were going? And then the correct answer all the time is, I believe I was going the speed limit.
Well, let's talk about that question.
Yeah.
When the officer pulls up and say, do you know why I pulled you over? that's almost like kind of like an entrapment question, because even if the person don't know, they're going to guess, right? They be like, well, oh, was it speeding? You know,
Yeah, that's
instead
it.
of it should be an introductory, right?
Yep.
Hey, I'm Hutch. I'm from this department. I am pulling you over for this. That's how the script really goes and how it's really taught.
Yeah, that's
Not
how
the walk.
the manual on community-centered policing recommends. You know,
Yes.
it stops this whole adversarial, inquisitor thing and just says, "Hey, I pulled you over for this." You know, which is good.
Right, because doing that, you kind of setting the person up.
Yeah, and the do you know why I pulled you over? It's like, oh, could you smell the stuff in my car?
Depends how long you've been
You know,
following me up.
Yeah. Oh, I was speeding? No, dude, you got a tail light out, but thank you for admitting to 2 other crimes, while trying to answer that question.
Right. It's just like skipping and get the investigative phase. Just make them tell you everything and then you go into it. And that's not the right way to do it.
I always throw them off when they ask me. I always say it's because I'm black, right? You know, I mean, you want to throw somebody off. That you just say that, and then they look at you. You're like, wait a second, no, you're not. See, now they don't know how to go about it. I'm just joking. That was a joke, everybody. That was a joke. It was a bad one. Let's go. I can't pull my head out from that one. Let's go.
Colin's wearing legal blackface.
And you answer, what are you doing? You're giving him evidence. Well, yeah, I guess you caught me speeding back there, or running that stop sign, or going through that red light. Thank you for the confession that he has on his audio-video recording, and will use against you in a court of law. Stop answering questions. Just don't. Next slide, please.
Oh, Lone Wolf, that's good. I like that one. Like, do you know why you pulled me over? Did you already forget? Are you drunk, officer? Not the best way to start a traffic stop. It'd be funny, though.
You do need to remember to do the following immediately when you realize you're getting pulled over. First and foremost, roll up all of your windows and lock all of your doors. Okay, why? Because these guys are getting more aggressive every day about jumping in your car without any probable cause, coming in from the passenger side, your side, and just pulling you out of the car for no good reason, yanking your keys out of the ignition and refusing to give them back, any of those things. Roll your windows all the way up, lock all of your doors. That keeps them outside and you inside until they can give a viable reason why that needs to change. Don't give them the opportunity to do that. My personal habit, I'm not going to get into my habit because I don't recommend most people do it. You get the document by going to the website and downloading it.
Oh, that's my favorite part. Oh, one of my favorite parts is, yeah, I'm giving you all this advice, and what I do, I don't recommend. Then why are you giving us advice? You mean your habit that you do, you don't recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All credibility lost. Let's go.
You can read what my habit is, but I'm not going to talk about it here. Do remember, however, that my objective here is not to get anyone hurt or injured. You have to use your own judgment as to how far you're willing to press your rights and keep them.
All right, I'm just pausing it so I make sure to read this. Be cautious here in Washington. The police have been given training that people asserting their rights are basically enemies of the state and violence. I have the proof in a FOIA.
In a FOIA, what?
Yeah, I mean, in a request. How do you have proof in a request?
It doesn't even say request. It just says I have proof in a Federal Open Information Act.
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't. Okay, all right. We're at least we're all on the same page. This guy's awesome. Real quick, I don't want to get too far behind.
Freedom of information, not federal. Somebody's going to correct me in 5 seconds.
I've heard it so many times that I just assumed that you said freedom.
Yeah, I did too. I
Let's
didn't even
go with that too.
Yeah.
Oh, more legal advice coming in.
For Rob's legal advice. Oh, these came in after I unpaused it.
I feel like I should disclaim none of this is legal advice. So this is
oh yeah.
I'm a lawyer, but I am not your lawyer. So your mileage may vary. Please consult with competent legal counsel in your jurisdiction before taking any action based off of what you hear here.
There you go.
There you go. He's not giving anyone advice. He's just up here interacting with the video with us. That's what's going on. Sparkle Poots, legal. See, everyone's doing it now. I hope we don't get you in trouble, Rob. You can throw me under the bus if you do. Kat, thank you. I guess I committed a little light treason back there. Thank you, Kat. All right.
That's entirely an individual requirement. You and only you know the situation you're in at the time. You and only you have reason to believe this officer is going to lose control and do something that will seriously injure you. You need to take that into consideration whatever happens, okay? But that being said, you need to be very careful that it gets to a point that is documented that you did not waive that right willingly, that you were forced to do it. Don't ever roll down more than one window at a time if you do remain in your car when you get stopped. No matter what the officer tells you to do, one window only. I don't care if there's cops at every window saying roll this down, don't do it. One window only. Why? Well, if you create more than one air vent in that car by rolling down multiple windows, you will create a cross breeze inside of that car. If you do that, that immediately gives the officer the opportunity to say he smells something coming from the car. With a single window down, that is impossible.
Oh, can we talk about how that's not true? I mean, if I'm smoking in my car, if I'm, let's say there's 4 people in my car, we're all smoking weed, and the officer comes up and we just roll down one window, he's gonna know we're smoking weed.
You don't have to roll down any windows. You can smell it coming up.
Yes.
It seeps out of the vents. And the only thing that's going to do is if you've got officers telling you to roll down the window more, yes, they're probably trying to get a whiff of things. If you've got it rolled down 3 inches or so, that's going to be more than enough. If they say that you need to roll it down more, you should roll it down more. You can fight that later on if you want, but if you don't, they're just going to pull you out of the car anyway. And now you got a whole car door full of whatever smell you're trying to hide exiting the vehicle. So it's just a stupid hill to die on.
Yeah. I have nothing else to say. I always feel like I should respond to what my guests say, and I don't really have anything most of the time. I'm just like, yeah, okay, let's go.
Yeah, he covered it.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Nothing can exit the car in that manner. There's no wind to blow it out the window for this officer to allegedly smell. So don't ever do that. Because the first thing he's going to do when he can't get what he wants one way is he's going to attempt to escalate the stop and get it another. Don't ever roll your one open window down more than 2 and 2.5 inches. Again, no matter what the officer tells you. If he tells you have to roll your window all the way down, just sit there and say, officer, I like the window where it is. I can hear you just fine. I'm comfortable with it right here. I don't want to roll it all the way down. I'm not going to roll it all the way down. There's no law that requires you to do that. Now, be aware that it
is not wrong. Usually that would be just fine. If you can hear the officer can hear you, you're compliant, you give him your license, that usually will be just fine. I mean, but then again, if he asks you to roll it down a couple more inches, if you don't, it kind of tells him that you might be hiding something.
Well, and under Pennsylvania versus Mims, all that the officer needs to do is have reasonable belief that there might be an officer safety concern. So if you're refusing to roll it down a couple more inches, you're giving him reasonable suspicion that there could be a concern because you're not complying with a pretty benign request. And then he's just going to order you out of the vehicle. And how does that help your situation anymore? It's just one of those stupid hills to die on. Now, as a defense attorney, if I said they had the window open down 2 inches, the officer ordered them to roll the window down and then stuck his head in the vehicle, I could probably go for an unreasonable search and try to get, any evidence derived from that, that sticking the head in the vehicle dismissed. But that's not something you're going to win on the side of the road. It's just a stupid hill to die on.
Oh, and also we're not even thinking about the tinted windows or nighttime, because some people's windows are tinted, heavily tinted, really dark. And that 2 inches is really, it's not going to let you see what you need to see. If that person's holding a gun or have something there that can hurt you, in that situation, that's where it changes. So it just depends. And if it's a clear window, so I can see through it. You don't want to roll it down anymore, but I can see in the car. Fine. It's daytime. Fine. Even nighttime, you can shine a flashlight in there. But that tent takes it to another level. And Rob could probably elaborate on that if he chooses to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you legitimately have nothing to worry about in your car and you want to get through the stop as quickly as possible, roll your window down half the way, all the way, turn on your interior lights, put your car in park. And when the officer comes up, have your hands on the steering wheel. He's going to come up and he has no reason whatsoever to believe that you're got anything to hide. He can see into the vehicle. And then if he starts to get froggy, all of those facts are really helpful in court.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
He will get upset by this and he will attempt to threaten you, but he's not at a point yet where he can actually justify anything he does that consists of violence. He can yell, scream, and holler at you all day long, but he can't start trying to break your window or anything because you won't roll it all the way down. So just keep that in mind and keep going. Now, when we go forward on this and we look at the next do's and don'ts, don't ever provide an officer with any documents or other information that they demand. The legal ramifications to your fundamentally protected rights are devastating. Again, everything you give out voluntarily will be considered exactly that, voluntarily. It can be used against you, and there will be no chance of you to have it suppressed because you waived the right to remain silent and not provide that information. Don't ever give your consent to an officer to search your car for any reason. That's just dumb. Don't do it. Without a warrant, they don't have a reason to search your car unless they actually put you in the back of theirs with the intent of taking you to a magistrate, which is where they're supposed to take you, even though they take you directly to jail. You need to be aware that that also is illegal.
Wait a minute. All right,
Yep,
Rob. What's up, Rob?
He started off great, and then it's like a really stupid room temperature IQ turn. Yeah, don't ever consent to any searches. If they have probable cause to search, they're going to search. The only thing that you consenting does means that if you come to court and they searched you based off of their own probable cause, I show in court that they had no probable cause. I get all that evidence dismissed. If you consented to the search, they could say, well, my lack of probable cause doesn't matter because they consented to the search.
Mm-hmm.
So you just never. Now, again, your demeanor will get you really far with this. If they pull you over, you get through the first thing, officer, I'm not going to be discussing my night. Thank you. I understand you're doing your job. I just don't, I'm just not going to discuss my evening with you. Why? Do you have something to hide? Not at all, officer. Okay. Do you mind if I search your vehicle? No, officer, I really value my privacy. You can just be very polite about it, exerting your rights. You don't have to go, I got to be in the back of your car and you got to get a warrant. No, they don't need a warrant. All that they need, there's something generally warrantless searches are unconstitutional, but there's an entire vehicle exception because a vehicle is mobile. The Supreme Court has held that there is an exception that happens in a motor vehicle where they don't need a warrant if they have probable cause that there's contraband inside.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they search the vehicle and their body camera shows that they had no probable cause, they can't articulate it, and it happens to be that they find something that you didn't know about was there, maybe something you didn't hide well enough, whatever the case is, I can overwhelmingly get that excluded because they had no basis to conduct the search.
All right.
And that's why I'm going to add one more thing too, Rob. So even the officer making that initial stop, and a lot of times, say it's for license plate light out, and you know that's a fishing expedition anyway, right? But then if you find something, you better write that first ticket for the initial stop because it looks like you just skipped everything else, got the arrest, and like, hey, so what did you stop him for? Well, yeah, it was a license plate light out. Oh, but you didn't write him for that, but you arrested him because you found, weed in the car, marijuana in the car, whatever. That makes it kind of questionable. When you go to
Yeah,
court.
and I mean pretextual stops are legal, but juries don't really like them. So, you know, if you're able to paint a picture that the stop wasn't really about the license plate, that the cop just wanted to go on a fishing expedition and, you know, and arrest, you know, particularly if it's somebody from a marginalized community, juries don't really like that. They don't like to see that could be truth. But if you write them for the underlying ticket, the cop goes up and testifies and says, yeah, his taillight was out. That's what I was writing the ticket for. And then this happened. You know, it works out much better for the cop.
Mm-hmm. You laughing at Colin?
The super chat I just got, which I'm gonna catch up real quick. Dave Mid, thank you. It's not legal advice. It's entertainment commentary. I'm trying to make sure Rob doesn't get in trouble for what he's saying. Wixom, thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It is a great show tonight. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. And then Brutal Bob, good to see you, my friend, for $5. I wanted to chat more money than Wixom. That's what I was laughing at. Thank you, Brutal Bob. Okay, I'm gonna play it, guys. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick, so I'm gonna let it run for about 5 minutes. So don't tell me to pause. I'm not gonna be here for a minute.
Don't forget the courtesy flush.
Oh, if you said 5 minutes, okay, I know what's going on with you.
I'm only going to be gone 1 minute, but I'm just letting you know I'm going to let it play because when I come back, I'm going to have to listen and get a question to ask Rob. So that's why I'm saying it's going to be about 5 minutes before the next pause.
All right.
In most states, including Texas, and that you can sue them for false imprisonment when they do that. But that's beyond the scope of this presentation. If you want to know more about that, come to my classes down at Brave New Books or join Tao of Law when it launches, and you'll get to learn about it online. Now, if you give them consent, here's the potential downside. You are asking for the incriminating evidence to get planted in your car or evidence that you may not have even known was in your car to be discovered. You could have had a friend in there that got nervous and had a joint in his backpack or his pocket or whatever and immediately threw it under the front seat when the cop pulled you over. You could have got stopped yesterday by another cop and you had someone with you that did something similar. And now today you get stopped again and thinking, well, I'm alone. There's nothing in the car. I don't have anything. So, yeah, go ahead and search. And you got a joint laying on your front seat that your friend threw there and you knew nothing about. Don't consent to a search that doesn't have a warrant attached to it. Just don't. This is the key reason you don't get out of your car, because they have to have a really good reason, such as actually saying, we're taking you with us, in order to get into that car to perform a search without that warrant. The search incident to arrest requirement that allows them to do it without a warrant, even though you're in a custodial arrest, they're lying to you about that and haven't informed you of that. So if they attempt to search the car at this point, the search can get thrown out and suppressed as being illegal. And they know it. So don't ever give consent.
All right. I just got back. I heard you say that's not. I heard you say that's not true. I don't know what you just said.
Is a passing comment. He says that if you're not under arrest and then they search the car, I don't know why. Of all the Supreme Court exceptions that exist for the requirement for a warrant, he thinks only the search incident to arrest is valid and not any of the other ones the Supreme Court has identified.
Yeah, I don't know what we're talking about, so I don't have anything.
That's all good.
Jedi, thank you so much for the super chat. You wanted to chat. I want to chat more money than Bob. Thank you, Jedi. These kind of games are fun. Yep. See, I knew it.
Current bid is $7. We got a winner at $7. Arena at $7.
You got a good voice for that.
Do I hear a 9? Do I hear a 9? $9. $9 going once.
All right. I don't want a super chat bag. that is funny.
I'm doing it for you. I'm not getting.
I know. You're awesome, Rob. Okay.
To search. Okay, next one. All right, the officer is going to almost always insist.
Absolutely, K-Bar. Especially when you have great guests that are very knowledgeable. There's nothing for me to do except for just let them talk, which is awesome. It's about them, not about me tonight. So it's working out perfectly.
You are not under custodial arrest, but rather are simply being detained or a part of an investigative detention. Again, that's a lie. No officer has the authority to simply walk up and demand that you answer questions, produce ID, or provide them with your private information. But they're going to try to do that, okay?
Unless you're driving.
So it doesn't matter whether they're doing it verbally, doesn't matter
traveling.
whether they're demanding you give it to them in the physical form on an ID. They can't just walk up and demand it, and you're not required to give it to them.
Unless you're driving.
Be aware that when you won't submit and give them your information, though, their favorite tactic is to start threatening you, and they're going to start trying to say they're going to charge you with failure to identify, which here in Texas is one of their favorites. But the problem is, when you read the failure to identify statute, there's only specific ways to commit that offense. And in either case, in order to charge you for not providing information, the officer is required to have already arrested you for some other type of offense. Failure to identify is not an arrestable offense in and of itself, except in the subpart B, where it gives the requirement that you don't provide false information in a legal detention. But notice the contrast. In a legal detention, you can't give false information, but you can refuse.
That's just Texas law. Texas has this really weird identification statute, which says you literally don't need to provide ID until you're arrested. Unless you're driving a vehicle. It's one of they could do everything to you. You could be a suspect in a homicide, and until they actually arrest you, you're under no obligation to provide any information. It's just weird. But again, it just shows Texas law is not universal across all 50 states.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know that.
Is that the stop and frisk thing that happened? I don't know, 10 years ago.
I'm not sure.
Where they got rid of that.
Yeah, Texas passed a law. It was in their 3802, where basically I think the idea was to stop officers from like a stop and ID type of statute. But the way that they wrote it said unless you've been arrested, and that's a pretty high threshold. So until they're ready to, they have actual probable cause to arrest you, you don't have to give them anything unless you're driving, specifically in that statute.
Hey, Colin.
Yeah.
I think Rich has a question. I don't know if it's the third time he tried to ask it, but I just saw it flow through. Yeah.
Oh. Sorry, Rich. See, Colin, Rob, Hutch. Why don't cops ask people they pull over to turn off their cars and drop the key out the window or put it on the roof?
Well, why don't they?
So yeah, I guess he's asking is when an officer pulls somebody over, why isn't their first question, "Can I have your keys?" Essentially.
Yeah, I mean that would be a seizure. I mean, if an officer is taking something from you that they don't have a lawful right, like a driver's license, that's a seizure. So that would be a problem. Now, when you're doing a felony stop, they'll have you do that. They'll have you drop the keys out the window, open the door with your, if it's a full felony stop, they'll have you do that. But yeah, they're not going to order you to hand the keys. And I would push back against that if an officer said, "Hand me your keys," I said, "Officer, my vehicle's off. I'll put the keys in the center console if you'd like, if that would make you more comfortable, but you're not going to take my keys."
I mean, you don't even have to turn it off. That's not even part of
right.
I've never turned my car off when I've been stopped. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, no.
I'm in Minnesota. It gets 40 below here. I'm not turning the car off.
Well, can you turn your car off? Now, the only time I think something like that could be asked, but like you said, Rob, is going into the felony area, right? Where it may have been a small pursuit and they didn't stop. You had to follow them for a couple miles and your lights on. And now when they stop, you're not sure if they're going to take off again. So you want them to turn the vehicle off because now you're at a point where you don't trust the situation and you don't know what's going to happen. And you can tell me if you disagree, Rob, but that's
that's right. And I think Jared just had a comment there that it's never a good time to argue on the side of the road. It's if you believe you're wrong, you can get remedy. But if you think an officer is power tripping and overstepping his authority and stomping on your rights, what in your ever loving mind thinks that I know what will fix this? I'm going to challenge his authority, because that's what people who are overstepping their authority really love. And that'll sure put them in their place. It just defies all logic.
You're looking for a quick arrest doing that. because when they have that mindset, you're not going to win it. So it's just best to comply and let it ride how it ride. Don't escalate the situation when you already have a bad officer that is not, may not be straight up.
Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with voicing your concerns or your challenges to them. You could say, "Officer, am I legally required to do that?" If their body camera's on, that kind of stuff is helpful, because if they tell you you're legally required to do something, and then it turns out you're not legally required to do that, that's an opportunity to suppress information or suppress evidence and things like that. But fighting them and pushing back and refusing to do it is only going to make things escalate. And it never calms things down. There are officers out there who overstep their authority, who ask you to do things that are outside of their authority, but you're never going to win by fighting them back.
Oh, and do not ask for a supervisor. When you already dealing with an officer like that,
yep,
and you ask for a supervisor, it just makes it worse. Especially if it's not an officer that's, ones that kind of play in the gray area. You know what I mean, Rob?
Well, and overwhelmingly supervisors are just going to back up their officers, because and they might have some coaching down the road for the officers if they didn't do things the right way, but on the roadside, they're going to back them up, because especially right now, where especially in large cities, law enforcement officers are very hard to come by. No law enforcement officer wants to feel like he doesn't have the confidence and buy-in of his supervisor. So unless they're doing something like completely and utterly outrageous, they're just going to back them up, and they don't care if you end up getting the ticket dismissed down the road or whatever. That doesn't affect them at all. They don't get any demerits, or they don't get denied their Christmas bonus. Santa still visits them. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
And that goes along with just about any kind of industry that has to do with any kind of service. Is if there's somebody that's, asking for your boss, you want your boss to come defend you. You don't want your boss to just show up and start yelling at you in front of whoever is, I guess, complaining about you. Guys, let me knock out these super chats. A lot have come in, and I just don't like falling super far behind.
No, do your thing, man.
Jedi. I wanted more. Okay, that's right. We're at 6. Thank you, Jedi. Tharina up to 7, just because for once I can chat more than Jedi. Thank you, Tharina. I appreciate it. Foz, thank you. I appreciate it. You don't have to super chat at all, so don't feel obligated, but I do appreciate it. Thank you. Jedi. Poots wants in on this. Thank you, Poots. Mary Smith, late fee for Tharina wanting to be Jedi. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate it. Sly, I found Tharina's wallet in the car. She was holding out on you, Colin. Oh, Tharina. Thank you, Sly. Let's see. Mary for $20. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary. Artie Foz wants to beat people too. So much violence happening. Artie Foz wants to beat people too. So, I see what you're saying. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate it. Nunya Business for 16 months. Thank you. Oh, hey, I have one of these. 16 months. That is awesome. Jedi coming in at 1.5 years.
Nice.
Thank you, Jedi. Wixom for 11. We're up to 11 now. And it's Wix by a nose. Thank you, Wix. Jared. Okay, Jared, I didn't say thank you. We did cover this. Rob ported it out. So, Jared, thank you so much for your super chat. Phil, Wixom is wrong. Thank you, Phil. He probably is. And Legal Fiction, I need to call your supervisor. Thank you, Legal Fiction. All right. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats. Okay, let's keep going. We're only about halfway through this video, and we're an hour into the stream. So it looks like it's going to be a long night.
All right, I'll shut up.
No, it's good. No,
it's going to be hard because he's going to say something. I'm sorry, Colin. I cut you off. I'm sorry about that.
No, I love your guys' input. So
it's getting progressively dumber. So it'll be a long night.
And it's only going to get that way. I think he says, as the video goes on, he says less and less. That actually makes sense. So I remember when I was first telling you and Hutch about this video, when at the beginning of it, he's talking about traffic stop, and he's not wrong on a lot of things. Like some things he said are correct, and it's good advice. But it does progressively get less that way. Okay, last one just came in before I go forward. I want to get on the phone. Oh, thank you, Eileen. I appreciate it. Thank you. Very generous of you. Okay.
Used to give any. Whereas in a lawful arrest for some other offense, you shouldn't give false information and don't, but they also, at that point, they say you can't refuse to give them name, address, and date of birth. And that is the only 3 pieces of information you're required to give. But nowhere are you required to provide that information at any time on a physical form of ID. You don't have to do it with a license. You don't have to do it with a passport. You don't have to do it with any form of physical identification. Verbal is enough, as long as you provide those 3 pieces of information if you've been lawfully arrested or detained.
Traveling.
Now, given that, when you go down a little further on that, and you be aware that you don't give them the information, they're going to try to charge you with failure to ID, or they're going to attempt to charge you under, after these following conditions, as I just stated, under the arrest versus the detention, they may try to charge you with obstructing governmental operation as well. Again, you cannot obstruct government.
Again, wait, I mean, if you do this, this, and this that I'm telling you to do, they may try to charge you with obstruction.
I actually thought about the obstruction charge earlier, but Texas law seems to be a little bit different. And when you made the last comment talking about the IDs and the stop and how they don't have to do things, so I'm thinking, is obstruction part of Texas or not? Because their law seems just kind of weird.
Yeah, for most obstruction charges, just merely verbal or passive resistance isn't enough. You actually have to do something to interfere that's in a physical manifestation. So if you tense up, if you pull away, if you push, if you grab something out of their hands, all of that is an obstruction. But simply refusing to do things can rarely be. The Supreme Court hasn't ruled on this, but a majority of the circuit courts have found that just mere verbal use of your words or mere refusal to follow something, unless it's causing a physical impediment to the officer. So it's not necessarily you have to physically push it, but let's say you're standing in the middle of their traffic stop and they tell you to move over and you don't move over. That's a physical obstruction to their ability to operate and do their job. So that can be obstruction. But if you're just simply shouting things from the side of the road, or if you're refusing to give up particular information, that can rarely be an obstruction charge.
Okay. Yeah.
Since we're paused, you got a fan, Rob. Sparkle Poots request to be 40 years younger and to meet Rob. You know what? I'll approve that request.
I'm blushing.
Thank you, Sparkle Poots.
Governmental operation simply by refusing to say anything, nor can you do it by verbally responding or interfering with what they're doing by not being quiet. It has to be some sort of physical interference before you can be charged with that obstruction of governmental operation that they try to use. But they will do anything they can to intimidate you if you let them. You need to maintain a calm, cool, self-composed posture at all times. You want the video evidence to show you never lost self-control. If anyone lost control, it was the officer or officers on the scene. They got upset. They lost their temper. They made threats. They assaulted you or your car, okay? That's what you want the evidence to show. When you start standing up for your rights, I guarantee you these guys are going to start being upset. But when we get to the questions, you're going to see exactly why that's important. Now, when you go down, don't need to give them physical ID. You just simply need to verbally give them those 3 pieces of information. All right, let's go to the next.
Unless you're driving.
Now, how do you know when you are in custody and are required to provide these 3 pieces of information? How do you know when you are in custody where the officer is required to read you your rights? Well, this legal equation, as I call it, was taken directly from the case law dealing with that particular aspect of the term custody and functional equivalent of custody. Custody is custodial arrest or functional equivalent of a custodial.
Oh, I was muted. I'm going to We might actually be able to read this if I change how we're on screen. Let's see. I don't know if that's going to help, but it might.
Custodial arrest. And like I said, here in Texas, 543 of the Transportation Code tells you you're in a custodial arrest by law right off the bat. A functional equivalent of custodial arrest is when a reasonable person, considering the totality of the circumstances, would believe that he or she is in police custody to a degree associated with a formal arrest. In other words, you can't say, am I free to go? And the officer turn around and say, yes. If you say, am I free to go? And the officer says no, now you have the legal presumption of custodial arrest. That becomes very important with that.
And that's where we get that line. Am I free to go? You know, all officers say that on the side of the road. Am I free to go, or am I detained? We're stepping through the entire script here.
Piece by piece.
38.22 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, when they must inform you of your Miranda rights before they proceed. Next. Okay. Now,
I always rely on Miranda. She's a really nice person. I don't know what he's talking about. Dang, Sherzad. Perfect timing, right when I paused. 20 gifted memberships. That is extremely generous of you. Thank you so much. Welcome to the 20 new members. Sherzad, thank you.
And you 20 new
everything
members,
you
better not be freeloading next month. 20 new members. You better pony up after your month is over.
There you go. There you go.
That's the only legal advice that Rob said so far.
Directed at protecting yourself. Everything. And you need to remember these two important factors about any traffic stop. The purpose and intent of every transportation stop is to escalate it to either a DUI or drug bust. Always. That is where the...
Yeah, I'm gonna call bullshit on that.
Or you just broke the law.
Right? Right. Like every stop there. So every time an officer walks up to your car, his goal is to escalate that to a DUI or a drug bust. I mean, they might be looking for those. That doesn't mean they're trying to escalate it. Maybe the officer is just trying to go home and saw you speeding. It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you just sped. Maybe it's just that simple.
Yeah, right. Maybe he was just letting you know, hey, one of your taillights is out. I'm not giving you a ticket. I'm just letting you know because you can't see it. Get that.
Mind if I search your car?
Right.
Yeah. Here's your warning. Get it fixed. You got 15 days.
That's happened to me before. I got pulled over and I was terrified. I think I was like 18 and I didn't know my taillight was out. He just walked up to my car and he's like, I don't need your license or anything. You're good. I'm just letting you know your taillight's out. And they just walked away. It was about a 30-second stop. That was it. There was no reason for me to say, I don't even think I said a word to him.
Want me to tell you something?
Yeah.
That officer been on the job for years.
Yep.
That was not somebody that was new. They would have got all your information to see what they can, just to see what they can find. So he been around. He was around a long time.
I was young too. I was 17, maybe 18 years old. I was young.
Officer will attempt to escalate the stop to if given the opportunity. That's just another reason why you do not answer his questions. You do not.
What the actual fuck, Doc Ock?
Oh my good. What?
Yeah, that was worth a swear word. That was worth a swear word. Doc Ock. That is stupid generous of you. Thank you so much. Welcome to the 50 new members. Doc Ock, thank you. You are awesome.
I know there's some happy people in this chat right now.
Yeah. Dang.
Okay.
Thank you, Doc Ock.
He didn't know. The legal advice is gone. Nobody can top that. I gotta say it.
Get into chit chat or idle talk with the officer that will give him any reason to latch on to any statement that you make and allow him to escalate it to one of these two much higher and much more dangerous offenses. So do not do any of those things. This is what they're going to attempt to do. Be aware of it, expect it, prevent it. Do not attempt to educate the officer. Don't tell him what his job is. Don't tell him who you are. Don't tell him, you know, this is what the law.
Oh, I love the little notes on the bottom of the screen. They're making my night. Yeah, officers are dumb, everybody. There are no smart officers out there.
But not only that, what sovereign citizen ever follows that advice?
None.
They always, oh, well, here, let me give you my binder. You know, here's all of these irrelevant case laws in Black's 5th edition definitions. They do nothing but try to educate them. This is terrible.
Says you have to do, I know my rights and blah, blah, blah. You're attempting to educate an officer on the side of the road. Unfortunately, most of these guys, besides not caring, don't have the IQ for it. Now, that's not to say there's not good officers. There are. I fully agree that there are. But the good ones are too few and far between to stand up by themselves to resist the bad ones. They need our help. Once they see they're not outnumbered, maybe they'll get a voice. Maybe they'll get in a group and make a voice. I don't know. But the only way to do it is to know this for yourself at the moment, so let's get with it. Once you know the officer's name and his badge number, you're going to use that as often as possible while you're going.
Yeah, chat. I'm missing a lot of the chat, guys. I'm trying to pay attention to the video, and so I can actually listen and hopefully make a comment to my guests because they're smarter than me. So if I miss your comments, I'm sorry, guys. I am trying. It's not intentional, I guess I should say.
Down the things in this script.
I was gonna say I'll try to keep an eye out too because I've been looking, and listening to him, so I'll help you with that.
I appreciate that.
Why? Because you want that officer associated with every illegal activity you can get him into while he's got you. So you want to directly relate him and what he's doing to some violation of your rights at every single opportunity. That also makes any video record self-authenticating. When everyone that's in the recording is known, no one has to testify as to, well, this is that person, this is that person, this was made here, this was made there. It becomes self-documenting and self-authenticating when everybody's name is stated for the record, when everything in it is agreed that, yeah, that's what was said, that's who it was, and that's when it was done. By doing these things and getting his name and everything introduced and making him answer you like he wants you to answer him, you make that recording self-authenticating, including the one you're making, not just the one he's making. Remember, you don't leave home without a recording device. This includes in your car. I've got multiple ones in mind. Good luck on finding all of them to prevent me from having the record I need.
Such a badass.
Yeah, I know. He's so cool. He is so cool.
I got camera envy.
I've got cameras on my cameras. MGT, what's gonna piss you off even more is this video has about 10 million views. It's been out for about 10 years, but it has about 10 million views. There's a lot of people who have seen it. And sovereign citizens have written scripts, and they call it the Eddie Craig script. Are we caught up?
Hey.
No, we got 2 more super chats. What's up?
Oh, we do. Oh, Cheshire Cat, can you run your question back through? Because I see in the comments that other people are kind of hoping that we can answer it. So we need to see it again because the chat is moving pretty good.
All right, Sparkle Poots. I don't know what Leo ever ticked this guy off, but I applaud them. But I'm weird. I mean, yeah. I mean, he got fired, and we get a cool video to react to. Thank you, Sparkle. Cat, be sure to tell the new members about Members Monday. Oh, yeah. So all the new members out there, every Monday, we have a members-only live stream where I open the panel and let anyone who wants to come up. So that's every Monday. So all of you new members, we'll see you on Monday. All right. Hello, all. Sorry but I have a question for Hutch. Do officers like it better if you know your driver's license number instead of all the name and date of birth crap?
I think either one doesn't matter. I mean, if you have the actual license, that's fine. But if you don't have it and you memorize the number and you tell them, then when they run it, well, now if you run it in the computer, everything's going to come up and they're going to know that it's you. So it doesn't matter, especially as long as you're complying. it's not going to be a big deal.
Okay. Was it Cheshire? I hope that was the question. If that was only part of it, or you have another one, I am looking out for it as well. Okay, we have a blank screen. I don't know what's going on. We're transitioning to something.
Oh
The script.
yes.
Uh-oh.
Get your
It's about to go down.
Look,
It's
back in the day, say
about
get your
go
pens
down.
and paper out, but yeah, get your phones out, put the notes. You're gonna need this. This is what everybody asks on the
Your-
Sovereign Citizen channel. Like, where is the script?
Get
Well,
your Crayolas and your construction paper. Let's go.
Remember, the best flavor is grape. Or no, the best flavor is purple. I messed it up. The best flavor is purple. Man. Okay. Let's just go. I can't come back from that.
Now, again, everything you say is directed at one of the three rules: invoke, demand, protect. Always. Next slide. Question 1. For the record, may I get your name and badge number, please? This is the first thing you ask when the officer approaches your car window. You want to know who it is you're dealing with and how to identify them. Make sure that your recording catches their name and badge number. That makes your recording self-authenticating. Immediately, let's just say, for instance, the officer said his name is Davis and his badge number is 123. Officer Davis, badge ID 123, is there recording being made of this encounter? Again, you want him to tell you whether or not he's making an official record of this. The things highlighted in yellow, while not required, will help you possibly down the line when you start asking the question about, when you ask for this information and they say, well, we didn't make a recording or the equipment was malfunctioning. These three things will help you prove that's a lie if you got an answer to them on your recording. So these are optional, but potentially helpful. Officer Davis, badge number 123, what is the emergency and how can I help you? Again, we're not going to assume we did anything wrong. We're not engaged in transportation. We're not commercial. Therefore, his authority to pull us over for some alleged offense under that code is non-existent. Therefore, we have to ask, why are you stopping me? Do you have a problem and do you need me to help you? Because in Texas and most other republics, they can ask for help from the people to subdue a criminal or things of that nature, and you're required to help if you can. So we're going to ask.
There is never a duty to act upon somebody unless they have a duty. So unless you are a police officer, they can ask you for help, and there's protections if you do help them and maybe you injure somebody or something like that. But you're never obligated to help an officer do his job. You have no obligation to do that. That's ridiculous.
What's the emergency? I see your lights are on. How can I help? It's like, you were speeding, jackass.
Do you know it's a violation of federal law to have your lights on in a non-emergency?
Officer Davis, badge number 123, what facts or information are you alleging gave you probable cause to stop and accost me? Right there, we're asking the officer to validate his authority. What alleged facts are you relying on as your authority to do what you're doing to me right now?
And they don't have to tell you.
Now, of course, he's going to cite immediately something related to transportation. When we get to trial, that's going to become very important, not only in our defense, but also in our federal lawsuit when we sue everybody in the food chain after this case is over. Officer Davis, badge number 123, do you have a properly signed and issued warrant authorizing you to search me or my property? Again, documenting the right. Do you have a warrant? And this warrant specifically directed at...
I just love watching Rob's face. I'm just watching him react to everything he says. It's good. Real quick, new member, John. Thank you so much for becoming a new member. I appreciate it. Welcome to the family. Thank you, John.
I just want people to know I could have a response to every single sentence he is saying, but I am not doing that. I'm just trying to keep the highlights, because we would be here till midnight with me correcting every single thing that he said that's wrong. So
Yeah.
for anybody who thinks my silence means that maybe he's right about something, you will see me very exuberant when he's right about something, because he's wrong about everything else.
Cue
Yeah.
about 30 minutes ago when you almost jumped out of your seat yelling bingo, because he said what he said, shut up, and when you're done, shut up some more. You're like,
Yeah.
Yes, that's great advice.
But yeah, it is hard to sit here and not say anything when you know what the steps are and the stuff that he's saying against it. Yeah, it's something.
Okay, so Colin, every time you say something, like my eyes just immediately go to your name because we have the same name. I don't know if it's just a mental thing, but I think I've read every one of your comments and you're killing it tonight. Thank you. Yeah, I just needed to point that out, because yeah, we're both named, we have the best name ever, so we gotta share it.
Searching, okay? Can you search me or my property? If he says yes, simply ask to see a copy of the warrant. Texas law is now written where the officer is not required to have the warrant in his possession. Used to, he had to have it with him. However, even though he doesn't have to have it in his possession, if you demand to see it, he must produce it as soon as is practicable. Once he gets you to jail, if the magistrate sends you to jail, once he brings you into the magistrate, which is where he is supposed to take you first and foremost, but never does. Again, if he takes you directly to jail, you've got a lawsuit for false imprisonment that you could go after him with. I recommend you do that. Officer Davis, badge number 123, do you have a properly signed and issued warrant of arrest?
All right, that actually, Rob, can you go after an officer for false imprisonment? Is there ever a situation where you could win that?
I mean, it would normally be like a false arrest statute if there was absolutely no probable cause. But mistake is often a reasonable mistake as a defense to that. False imprisonment, no, because in order to be falsely imprisoned, they actually have to move you somewhere and then confine you to that location in all directions. So it's not going to be a false imprisonment. At best, it could be an unlawful arrest, which usually there's a statute that covers that particular thing. But as long as they had reasonable suspicion, or probable cause rather, for the arrest, they're going to be fine. Even just because the facts don't turn out to be true, if they can articulate probable cause, they haven't broken any law.
Gotcha. Yeah. Thank you for that.
That accurately describes or names me as the person to be arrested. Again, you're going to arrest me, where's your warrant? Okay? Your warrant either has to state me by name or description as the person it applies to. Where is it? Again, if he has it, ask to see it. If he doesn't give it to you right then, he's required by law to still produce it as soon as practicable. For the record, I am not operating in a for-hire capacity by engaging in any form of transportation or other commercial use of the highways. Officer Davis, badge number 123, please acknowledge that you have been so informed. Now, this officer is not going to know what you're talking about, and he's not going to care. He may refuse to answer, and so on and so forth.
All right, so for all the years that I've been watching Sovereign Citizens, we even know that that question's coming. We still have no idea what you're talking about. So I'm saying we as if I'm an officer. I'm just saying, as a person watching, I'm sure officers are like, that doesn't even make sense. Everybody knows that line's dumb, except for them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
However, you want an answer to every question you ask. When they don't answer, do what they do. Keep repeating the question till they respond. He may say, I don't care, I don't know. Doesn't matter. But you want an answer to this question before you allow him or yourself to move on. Very important that you get this, because once he admits that you told him you were not operating in transportation, and he continues to do something to you using that as his authority, he has admitted his authority was gone, and he held you anyway. That
yeah.
is going to be a very big problem for him in federal court. I had no authority to keep you there.
All right. Again, I'm just pausing it to make sure everyone gets to read that. Your local court will most likely find you guilty as these private businesses masquerading as legitimate courts have a. Oh, I see. We're actually getting down to the sob sit stuff now.
Yep.
Press X to doubt. Absolutely. Everyone press X.
But I did it anyway. Well, we're going to prove to him why that's a very bad idea. Officer Davis, badge number 123, am I under custodial arrest? Again, this is where he's going to lie. If I am not under custodial arrest, am I free to go? And again, he's going to tell you no. You cannot get the same answer to these two questions. They're completely opposite to each other. Either you're in a custodial arrest and not free to go, or you're not in a custodial arrest and you are free to go. They can't be the same answer. Officer Davis, badge number 123, what is the articulable probable cause that leads you to believe that I have committed or am about to commit a crime that authorizes you to stop and detain or arrest me? Again, the officer is going to cite some alleged transportation offense as his initial probable cause.
Saint, that is a good question. I have no idea. But it seems, I mean, it's a low budget, but it looks like it's professionally done. For 10 years ago to put this on YouTube, this is a professionally done video, so I have no idea where he was actually sending it. Maybe it was just all for YouTube. I don't know.
Oh, the funny thing, I was just thinking just before that comment, I said, I wonder if he has a small audience out there. He's giving a presentation in an auditorium or something.
Oh, you mean in person? Yeah, okay.
No, it does kind of look like a public access, like Wayne's World type studio that he's got going there. It just needs a couple of ficus trees in the background, and it's all complete.
I feel like I had something I wanted to say. Oh, yeah, that was it. Colin, definitely not grammar school. I like the name change. I like the name change. However, I don't think you can change your name for another week after you change it. So your name may be stuck like that for a week. Just a warning.
I know I'm
appreciate
missing
it, though.
I'm missing the
Sorry.
highlights. Where the highlights go on these papers?
I know, right?
Cause. You want that in the record. He's already admitted up here that you told him you were not in transportation, and now right here he's saying, but that's still what I'm going to use as my authority to accomplish.
Eddie Craig. I think that was it, wasn't it, guys? Eddie Craig, does that sound right? Yeah.
Yep, you got it.
Cost you or do anything else to you. For the record, Officer Davis, badge number 123, in order to protect my rights and not waive any by error or accident, I wish to clarify my legal understanding of the situation. You said that I am not free to go, so I must conclude that I am in a custodial arrest and not simply an investigative detention. Therefore, I am invoking all of my fundamentally protected rights, including my right to remain silent and my right to assistance of counsel. From this point forward, I do not consent to providing you with any information or documents that could or will be used against me in a court of law or to possibly incriminate me. So please do not ask me to produce anything and give it to you. From this point forward, please do not ask me to answer any questions or to perform any tests relating to any matter whatsoever without my attorney present. All right, now the clincher to that setup is going to be this. Officer Davis, badge number 123, do you intend to harm, injure, or punish me by any method of assault, arrest, and or incarceration because I have invoked these fundamentally protected rights? Now that's going to create an immediate problem for the officer. Understand this, when you refuse to produce the demanded documents or to answer any questions, the officer is going to begin to get upset and continuously state the following. The law requires that you produce a driver's license and other information on demand of a law enforcement officer.
If you're
again, they're also prone to falsely accusing you of obstructing or interfering with a public duty or officer or just outright threatening to commit acts of violence against you and your property. Don't fall for the intimidation tactic. That's what this is. Invoking and refusing to waive your fundamental rights is not...
Doc, we actually... I think that was We just saw that on a video where an officer said that to the sob sit, and they didn't know how to answer. I think they actually said it was dumb. The sob sit did. I want to say that was one of the ones out of Kansas with that group. I can't remember her name, but I think the officer told her that. Did you buy gas? Isn't that a commercial transaction? I think. I don't know. But it has been said. An officer did call one out by that.
And cannot be converted into a crime. And if they do arrest and charge you falsely for interfering or obstructing, then you get to sue everybody. Why? Because they just punished you for invoking those protected rights. They're doing what they're doing because you invoked the right not to let them. But the moment you waive that right, you won't get it back. And you need to keep that in mind. So just remember, when the officers continue to demand that you produce a license, registration, proof of financial responsibility, or any other information or documents, despite their threats, all you do is keep repeating the following. For the record, Officer Davis, badge number 123, no law is valid if it requires me in any way to waive any...
Oh, that would be content gold if we paid him
my
to actually do
goodness.
a rundown of his knowledge. That would be content gold.
Yes.
Real quick, what happened to shut up, and keep shutting up?
Yeah. Now
That was
he's
rule
wanting
number
them
one.
to talk, and talk more.
Yeah. Rule number 1, shut up, and keep shutting up. Rule number 2, ignore rule number 1.
Yeah.
fundamentally protected right in order to exercise any other right or alleged privilege. And no law can convert the free exercise of any right into a crime. I have repeatedly informed you that I choose not to waive any of my fundamentally protected rights. So I ask you once again, officer, do you intend to harm, injure, steal my property, or otherwise punish me for invoking my fundamentally protected rights? Again, we're putting them between a rock and a hard place on making this choice. Because remember, their video record is showing that all you're doing in a calm, cool, collected voice is invoking your rights. The rights that you have that are inherent. They're not constitutional rights. They're not civil rights. They are unalienable, inherent rights.
In your head.
And he can't have them unless you give them away. So don't. If he's going to harm you, he's going to do it anyway. If he's going to threaten you, he's going to do it anyway. Keep that to a minimum whenever possible. But don't waive your rights until you can prove that the only reason you waived them was because of the threat of violence.
Yeah, that was the group I was referring to. I think that's the video that I saw it in, where the officer asked, "Did you put gas in your car? Isn't that aren't you like? Why can't I think of the word I'm looking for?
Engaging in commerce.
Thank you.
Commerce. Yeah.
Engaging has been the word I've been looking for." Rob, I think you just have to come up every night and just help me finish my sentences.
Sounds good.
Oh, hold
man.
on. Let's try that again. I think I need you to come up every night so you can finish my
Sandwiches.
Thank you. Perfect.
Ah.
Ross with this. We got this going on. Now I'm hungry.
Against you or your property. Okay? That's very, very necessary. The courts will give them every possible opportunity to escape if you assist them in any way. So don't. Now, warning. Be prepared for the officer to do or threaten precisely that he is going to harm, injure, or punish you or your property in some form or fashion. So again, they're going to start threatening you with all kinds of things, including the falsified criminal charges we've already discussed. You only need to use this sub-item A portion of this once. Anytime you deal with a particular officer, use it on that officer, and it's only required that you do it once because the record will show that you notified him and gave him the chance and the opportunity. Officer Davis, badge number 123, due to your attitude, demeanor, and your continuous threats to falsify charges and commit acts of violence against me and my property while displaying a deadly weapon, I feel physically threatened and in fear for my life. I demand that you cease and desist and that you get a supervisor here immediately. I do not
Ding, ding, ding. Supervisor. Whoever had supervisor on their bingo card. You know, this would have been the worst bingo video ever. Everyone would hit bingo. He's hitting everything. We just won't have a broken window in this. But I bet he's caused a lot of broken windows.
I think so.
consent to any of your actions, the use of force against me or my property, or to being forced to exit my car for any purpose, especially so that you may attempt to steal my property and or assault, injure, or kill me. Again, we're telling the officer exactly what we expect him to try to do. And it's now a part of the official record. Now it's on his back to make sure that anything he does not give the impression that that is what he's trying to do. This actually sets it up to protect you from the officer's actions by making it known to him exactly what you are expecting those actions to be. And so will any jury that sees or hears this recording. And that...
Yeah, the original video, which I will link after this video is over, I'll throw the link in the description. So anyone who's super annoyed with how many times we're pausing it tonight, I will actually apologize for that tonight, but I have to do that. This is I got this video from another channel, so I got to make sure I stay well in the fair use realm. But I will be putting the link to the original video. It does have 10 million views. It also came out 10 years ago, so this is an older video and a ton of views.
That, folks, is what we want. We want a record that shows a jury in either court, whether it be at trial or at the federal level when we're suing, doesn't matter. We want to show that we did nothing wrong. We simply invoked our rights. We asked the officer to respect that, and all he could do was threaten us with violence when we did so. That's not going to bode well for him on the other side. Officer Davis, badge number 123, you are fully aware that I have already invoked my fundamentally protected right to remain silent and my right to assistance of counsel. Do you intend to continue in your unlawful efforts to violate my rights? Just keep repeating this like a...
That is a great comment. If this works so well, why are you talking about what to do at a jury trial? I love it. I love it.
Yeah, because you just win, right? This is the checkmate.
Broken record. Once you've invoked these rights, stand on these rights. So, it is my belief that the information you are demanding may possibly be used against me in a court of law or an attempt to incriminate me. And that's true. It will be. And if that is so, then upon the advice of legal counsel, I must respectfully decline to provide you with any information or evidence that possibly can or would be used against me for those purposes. You have the right not to provide it. Don't. Not a hard choice, folks. Officer Davis, badge number 123, I am asking you again, do you intend to continue to deny me in my rights and to falsely imprison me, or am I free to go? You keep repeating this section down here, and this record is going to be self-authenticating all the way through, and they're going to have a severe problem with anything they do other than just issuing the ticket. That is the purpose. He doesn't know what
self-authenticating means.
Now, when you start doing this...
I don't think he knows what a lot of things mean.
He doesn't.
Throw that out there.
Because it just makes perfect logical sense. If you just keep asking over and over again, am I being detained or am I free to go? And they tell you you're not free to go, just ask it again. You know, it's like, maybe it's like a slot machine. If you just crank it enough, all of a sudden you'll get a jackpot and he'll be like, yep, okay, fine, you're free to go. But self-authenticating is a document that, because of its nature, doesn't need to have anybody introduce it as evidence. So if you think like if you think of like a government record, like a transcript of a Senate hearing, and you wanted to put that into a court record, it's self-authenticating because of the nature of the document. Nobody has to be able to offer it into evidence, and it's not subject to cross-examination. Videos like this are never self-authenticating. They're testimonial evidence, and you have to be able to have somebody there who can authenticate and be subject to cross-examination of the evidence. So him to keep saying it's self-authenticating, that word doesn't mean what he thinks it means.
And this is why you get paid the big bucks. Yeah. This is, again, me not having any idea how to respond to that because what you said was perfect. So I'm just going to shut up and hit the play button.
If they start threatening to break your windows or anything of that nature, you need to know basic safety protection for yourself. Cover your eyes and like this for the side of your face and look down at the center console of your car so that anything they do won't come flying into your face. But if you do this correctly and you don't lose your temper, the odds of that happening get lower and lower with each passing question.
Yes, because this happens on every stop.
Yes.
Yep. We've already covered this. Now we actually have a whole portion of the video for this. All right, let's go.
When you are in that car, it is very important that you do not put your face against that 2 to 2.5 inch crack you have on the window. Don't turn and speak directly through it. Don't speak directly into the officer's face. Don't roll your window down any further than the 2 to 2.5 inches. When you talk, you can do it in this manner. Whatever you got to do, tilt your head up, but don't speak directly into the crack or anything else. And here is why. The officer is then going to attempt to escalate this by making false allegations. He's going to say he smelled drugs, he smelled alcohol, anything and everything to give him the grounds to come after you, since he can't do anything more with the transportation stop. You've blocked him at every turn. He wants that DUI or drug bust. That's what he wants. Don't give it to him.
Okay.
Was it
Now, what
show and tell? Oh no.
Yeah, I think at this point in the video, they're learning how transitions work, and they're just now getting a little ahead of themselves. Like, oh, we have an example transition. We just figured that out 2 minutes ago. Now we're going to use them all the time.
Star wipe.
Yeah, exactly.
he did was, after they had already written the ticket, they refused to give her back her identification, which was a passport and a student ID. That's what she used for identification. They wouldn't give her her identification back, nor would they give her a copy of the citation, even though she had already signed it. They held her there for another 48 minutes trying to get her to get out of the car by doing the following. What they did was illegal. But if you don't know how to respond immediately to what they do right here, this video is no longer going to be helpful to you in a court of law. It's going to be hurtful. Why? Because the officer has made an allegation regarding a potential offense that you have failed to rebut the moment it was made. A jury sees or hears that, and immediately the presumption of guilt is going to creep into their minds. So you must expect this, you must be prepared for it, and you must respond appropriately. The moment the officer says something of one of these two things here, sir, ma'am, I smell alcohol or marijuana, and I'm going to have to ask you to step out of the vehicle. Or, sir, ma'am, are you aware that you did something, and I'm going to have to ask you to step out of the vehicle? All right? Beware. The moment they say something like this, they are making an attempt to escalate. Stop it in its tracks. This is how you respond to this. Officer Davis, badge number 123, your statement is patently false and an outright lie. Are you now trying to fabricate probable cause by making false statements into the record and false allegations against me? Now, the young lady I'm talking about.
All right. Rob's taking his glasses off. Does that mean he's losing his mind over there?
What happened to shut up? Like, what happened to shut up and keep shutting up? What
Totally
happened to
flipped it.
don't try to educate them? Like, just shut the f up. That's all you gotta do. That's it.
Again, I love that that's his first rule, and then he tells you.
Then he spends 90 minutes or whatever the rest of the video is telling you, okay, here's how to not do that.
Yeah. I mean, if he would have stopped the video after 5 minutes, it'd be like, oh, great video, man. Great video. Rob would have been his #1 fan.
I would have been like sharing that about best advice on what to do at a traffic stop right here.
Sparkle Poots, go for it. Oh, this was from a while ago. Sorry, Sparkle Poots. I should have brought it up earlier. This was in response to me letting Rob talk for until midnight. So I'm still okay with that. If you want to talk until midnight, Rob. But Sparkle Poots, thank you.
Let's go.
Craig, thank you so much. Great content, love your. Thank you. I appreciate it. Tonight's been awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, Craig. All right, let's go.
When they pulled this out of the hat on her, had no clue how to respond. Fortunately, I was on the phone listening. I told her to say exactly this, and she did. This was what happened next. Ma'am, hold on, please. I'll be right back. And the officer turns and walks away to go get advice on what do I do now. She caught me red-handed.
I thought
Oh,
you just unmuted, Rob, so I thought you were going to say something.
The timeline confuses me because he's on the phone and he tells her this, but the officer didn't know he was on the phone, but yet he was able to communicate this verbatim to her so that she could tell it to the officer. And then he was just stumped and, checkmate, stop over, I guess.
I mean, that's how this is supposed to work, though, right? It's supposed to make sense and just flow. I mean, if everyone knows, if you confuse the officer, they just let you go. Everyone knows that.
One neat trick.
Yeah.
Flat-footed, making a false accusation, and the recording shows that she expected it. Her response was too quick not to expect it. But I'm practiced at this. I know how this works. So having me on the phone with her prevented what would have otherwise been a possible bad outcome for her.
Can I have your phone number, Eddie? I would love to talk to you.
I don't know. That would be hilarious. I wonder if he's still around doing these kind of videos.
He's probably in federal prison for something right now. Like,
yeah, but he's for trying to imitate a lawyer, practicing law without a degree, selling all this stuff. People are dropping his name in court, the Eddie Craig script, and now he's in trouble for it. Maybe, I don't know.
This officer walks away for several minutes. He comes back to the window with his supervisor, and they start arguing with her about the alcohol and everything else. She keeps repeating this and saying, look, I invoke my rights. I'm not getting out of my car to do a breathalyzer. I'm not getting out of my car to discuss anything with you because I've invoked my right to remain silent and I've invoked my right to assistance of counsel. Getting out of my car to do anything of that nature will not help either of us, and I'm not doing it. Ma'am, we'll be right back with you. And they turn around and walk away from the window again. She's not waiving her rights,
for 1,000,
folks.
Alex.
No.
What was that? I didn't hear you.
I'll take things that never happened for 1,000, Alex.
Oh, the game show. Yes.
No matter what they tell her or what they threaten her with, she's not waiving her rights. When this was all said and done, all they did was finally give her back her ID and a copy of the citation, and she went home. Yes, they held her up for a couple of hours, okay? And they wrote her tickets for things that she could have easily done if she was willing to waive her right to remain silent and everything else by producing the documents they wanted. But believe me, when you get to trial and you start arguing not engaged in
I'll take things that didn't happen for 10,000, Alex.
Daily double.
transportation,
Right?
Oh, I wish we had that sound effect.
the last thing in the world you want is the state prosecutor to stand up there and say, well, they produced a license, which is associated with transportation. They produced the registration, which is associated with transportation. They said they were driving
You know what this reminds me of? When you're watching a political debate and one of the candidates just says, "Oh yeah," and then Tim, an electrician in Washington, he just told me this the other day. It's like, yeah, no, I don't think Tim exists. Like, and then his very next statement, and then Barbara in California said that she doesn't agree with this. Like, I don't think Barbara exists either. That's how I'm feeling about this story right now.
Absolutely.
A vehicle, which is associated with transportation.
Oh, sorry, Rob, I cut you off.
I just said absolutely. That's all.
And they gave them proof of financial responsibility, which is also associated with transportation. The record now shows clearly that you confessed that transportation is absolutely relevant to what you were doing, and the officer was fully justified in pulling you over to issue that citation. That, folks, is what waiving your rights has accomplished by producing the information they are demanding. Like
Okay,
it or not,
let me tell you how
they
this is
expect you to
would
waive
really
your
go in
right of
court.
due process.
Let me tell you how this would really go in court. Not this, oh, you just admitted you're engaged in transportation. The prosecutor goes up and tells the judge or the jury, here's the crime that they're charged with. Here's the element of the crime: operating a motor vehicle. Operating motor vehicle means being behind and control of the wheel in a motor vehicle on public roads. Being intoxicated, whatever. They just list out the elements. And then they say, here's why the defendant met each of these elements. Then the defense goes up and says, well, no, they didn't meet this element, or this element. You don't get into a legal battle about the definitions of words, but in front of a jury. That just doesn't happen. That happens in pre-motion stuff. And every single time the judge is going to follow whatever the state statute says, not what 5th editions of Black's Law Dictionary says.
This is another moment where I'm just nodding my head up and down because I've got nothing to add to that.
My mic's on his arm, so I can't drop it, but
Oh, drop that mic. Hey, Colin, you need to make your avatar go up and down.
There we go. That's what I should do. Kat, thank you. She got a citation and the stop took 2 hours. What did she gain from this story? She gained nothing. She's also a fictional person. We don't actually think this story happened. But thank you so much, Kat. I appreciate the super chat. Hey, that rhymed. It was good. Thanks, Kat. I appreciate the super. Why did that just make me happy? I need some kind of joy after watching this for 2 hours. Okay, let's go.
Your right to self-incrimination and everything else to accommodate their desire to generate revenue off the backs of you and I.
Up, and that's it. That's it. That's all I got.
That's it. That's all I got.
You love it when I say that.
Yeah, I do.
You love it so much that you started using it.
I know. I'm gonna start saying that every time. That's it. That's it. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
That's all I got.
96% of that was useless.
Okay, so the only thing to gain from this video: shut up, and when you're done shutting up, shut up some more. That's it.
That's it.
That's all I got.
Yep.
You guys are awesome. Rob, Hutch, thank you so much for hanging out with me this evening. This was amazing. This could not have gone better.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. It could have gone better. I could have been ready on time and didn't have everyone waiting for 15 minutes.
I wasn't going to call you out, but I'm proud of your self-realization.
Yes.
I love it, Rob. Love it.
I forgot it happened. I had so much fun. I forgot that happened. Usually that would have been eating at me the entire show because I absolutely hate being late. I'm always a very punctual person. I hate being late. And you can see that. Through I don't know, the 2 years I've been going live, I think I've been late 3 or 4 times in 2 years. And so usually it eats at me and all it does is go through my head. Not tonight, because you guys were awesome and the show was a lot of fun.
We made up for it.
You absolutely did.
Yeah, we helped you out.
Any last words before I cut you loose?
Shut up, and keep shutting up.
Yep, that's all we need. All right, that's it. That's all I got. Bye. Hutch, what do you got going on? Anything interesting coming up?
You mean for tonight or just period?
I'm just asking in general. I'm just filling dead space. Because I suck at ending things, so I'm trying to figure out a good way to end this. So
yeah, we gotta help you with that. No, nothing's happening. I'll probably have try to work on something for the night for tomorrow, but that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are very thankful for the stream and the information from Rob. I can see in the comments there's a lot of appreciation there, and I feel like it was a really good stream because we got to talk about a whole lot of things and to see the script. So anything dealing with all of this stuff with law enforcement, I like talking about anyway.
Yeah, that is awesome. Rob, you were the star of the show tonight. We need to do this more often. I know you're really busy, so that's going to be few and far between. But it's not going to stop me from asking because this was so much fun. And yeah, I hope to have you back on sooner than later.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just I've had a trial block for a couple of weeks, so it's been a little bit crazy. So I should have a little bit more free time. But yeah, even if it's an impromptu thing, I can usually at least hop in on my phone, and it won't be with the nice camera and mic setup, but I could at least contribute a little bit. No, but thank you for having me. It was an absolute pleasure, and I would love to come back anytime.
Awesome.
Yeah, very nice.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess I'm gonna do my outro. So, mods, you guys were awesome tonight. Thank you so much for your hard work. I know it was a longer stream than normal, so you guys are awesome. Thank you to everyone that was watching. Thank you. Very generous in the super chats, the gifted memberships, the membership milestones tonight. Always appreciative. Doc Ock, still, I'm still kind of, I still have goosebumps from your insane generosity. So thank you. Just wanted to shout you out again. All right, that's it. That's all I got. I'm gonna let this video play out, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, I had to remember what day of the week it is. It's Thursday, so we still have one more day of court. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until next time, bye.
Bye. Dang.
Oh man, I did not know that was there. That is
I know I would love
hilarious.
for Rob to seen that.
I know Rob just dipped.
Oh, dang.
They put that in at the end. Oh, that okay. All right, I'm out.